This week, I decided to showcase some of my happiest plants. When I was looking at my collection, there were many of them that were actually happy. Some were kind of just chilling, not doing much, and some that were just plain sad, but that's a video for another day. I had a difficult time deciding which plants to include in the list since so many of them were actually happy. I mean, do I limit myself to 5 plants, maybe 10, or just any number as long as they're happy? But in the end, I decided that I was only going to include the ones that have been growing the most for me since I got them, which in a way was still a hard decision to make because so many of my plants actually grew this spring. But anyway, keep watching so I can show you what I narrowed my list down to. Alright, so first I wanted to apologize for the weird lighting. I am filming this at night, so it's not that great of a light situation in here. Plus there's a weird pink glow because if you look over there, I do have my grow lights on. So yeah. So the first plant on my list is the Starfish Sansevieria, or I guess they're called Dracaenas now, but that's really hard to get used to, and I kind of like calling them Sansevierias better. So I'll probably just stick to that for as long as I can. So I got this in July of 2019 from Hertz Gardens, and can you believe I only paid $14.99 for this bad boy? That was before all the plant prices blew up. It was in a 4-inch pot. They really stuffed this guy in a 4-inch pot. And my jaw literally dropped open and I gasped loudly when I opened the box. I was not expecting it to be as big as it was for the price, and I'll insert a picture of it when I first unboxed it. It came with this pop-up plant right here. Yes, it is a boy, and his name is Patrick. And he had 2 babies, which I had taken off and given one to my mom and one to my little sister. But then shortly after that, he popped out this little baby right here. And then this one, which for a while they weren't really doing much. They were kind of just there, not growing. And then within the past, I would say maybe a month, this one right here just got longer and longer. It's probably like a foot long now. I don't know where he's planning on going. But yeah, see how big the main guy is? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I'll probably just leave them in this pot for now, instead of repotting them. I don't think they need to be repotted just yet. This guy's actually pretty heavy. I don't see any roots coming out yet. Those are just the yarn that wicks the water up. And they seem to be happy for now, so. The next plant on my list is also a Sansevieria. It's one of my Whalefin Sansevierias. I also got this from Hertz Gardens back in 2019 in August, and I only paid $19.99 for this guy. Actually, let me get the other one. There were 3 of them. 3 big ones in a 6-inch pot. Hold on, let me get the other one. All right. So these 3, this one, and this one, and this one, were all in a 6-inch pot together, and that was only $19.99. I mean, look at how big this guy is. So the reason I chose this guy is because this one's not really doing much, but look at this guy. He decided to put out this new baby, and this was also just in the last month, maybe a month and a half. Look how tall that guy is. But Whalefins are just so cool. They're just so big. I mean, you couldn't find 3 large Whalefins nowadays for $20. You probably get a small one in a pot for $20 or $30, but just a single one. So I think I got really lucky. And again, that was before all the plant prices blew up. Oops, sorry. So the third plant is my Syngonium Pictus Exotica. I actually won this plant in a giveaway on Instagram back in December of last year, back when I still had my Instagram plant account. I'll insert a picture of what he looked like when I first received him and how small he was. This beauty is one of my favorite plants, and I love touching and staring at his leaves. I think I may be a leaf petter. But he was not very happy at first when I first transferred him to Lekka. In fact, he did lose some leaves, and I ended up having to rehabilitate him in water. But once he grew those water roots and I was able to transfer him back into Lekka, he just took off and put out new leaf after new leaf. And this is one of the newer vines right here. This whole one. This is actually one of my favorite leaves. It's not as big as some of the original ones. Like, let me show you. Like, this is one of the original leaves. And it did come damaged like that, but it's okay. But yeah, look at how huge that is. But I just love how much silver this guy has. That's why he's one of my favorites. I wish the camera would pick it up better, but it's okay. Yeah. And the leaves are pretty thick too. Like, they're not like one of those really thin, flimsy leaves. Yeah, I wish if you guys are in the market for a new plant and you spot an Exotica, definitely grab it. It's quite the stunner. Okay, so next up is my Pachera aquatica, or money tree. This is actually my second money tree because I overwatered my first one when I was still a very, very new plant parent. I mean, who knew that plants that naturally live in swampy areas don't like sitting in water? I mean, come on. So I wanted to replace my first one, and I stumbled upon this plant in July of this year at my local grocery store of all places. They had labeled it the Madagascar monolith, and I actually had to research it while I was at the store to figure out what the heck a Madagascar monolith is. And it turns out it was just a money tree. I mean, the leaves do look like regular money tree leaves, but the only difference is it has this stump for a trunk instead of those braided stems that they normally have, which I think this one is way cooler. I like plants that have big stumps like that. And like my desert rose. He is just so happy. Like this. No, wait, that's not the one. This one back here, let me show you, is his biggest leaf. Like, can you see how big that guy is? That's my hand right there. And that came out after I brought him home. And then he's put up plenty of other new leaves since then. These two up here, these two tallest ones, are the newest ones that he put out. And look at how big this guy is too. When I first got him, he was only like up to here. And everything above are new leaves. And in fact, see if I can get in there. I'll show you. I think he has 3 more that he's putting out. So there's one right there. And there's one right here. You see that? And let me see if I can find a third one. Sorry. Right here. So yeah, he's just been a really happy guy. And I do take care not to overwater this one. He seems to really like the lack of life. And I wish plants had happy feet, and you can easily tell which plants are happy because their happy feet would be dancing. Okay, sorry, that was really cheesy. Alright, so on to the next one. So my fifth plant is my Hoya Carry Eye. This cutie here has grown so many leaves since I got it. I got it in September of 2019. He only had 6 leaves back then. So basically, all of these leaves in the bottom up to here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, up to here were the only leaves I had. And then it had this trail, like maybe up to here. And then this one grew. And this is a new one right here that's still growing. And then this vine grew all the way up here and grew all these other new leaves. I mean, how can you resist these heart-shaped leaves? Plus, I love the little splashes of silver that they have on there, too. They're just so adorable and so easy to care for. I actually had a variegated one that I killed due to overwatering. And I'm not sure if the variegated one is more sensitive to that, but I was watering it the same way that I was watering this one. And for some reason, it just ended up rotting on me. I mean, I let them dry out completely before refilling the water reservoir. I do want to get another variegated one in the future, though. A quick tip on Hoyas: do not, and I repeat, do not disturb any new growth, or they'll throw a tantrum and just dry up the new growth and it'll fall off. So right here, I don't know if you can see this tip right here, on focus. There was a new leaf that was growing right there that was just sticking out. And I accidentally bumped into it one day when I was watering my plants and cleaning the leaves. And yeah, sure enough, it just dried up and fell off. But I'm sure it'll put out another new one soon. So yeah, that's my Hoya Carry Eye. My next plant is another Hoya. And this one is the Crimson Queen. This is another beauty, like all Hoyas are, in my opinion. But this lady has put out so much new growth for me, and I'm so proud of it. It didn't make a fuss at all when I transferred it to Leca, unlike my Crimson Princess, which is still tiny, and it's still in Leca propagation. But this one just took off. It immediately loved the Leca life. Let me show you this almost completely white leaf. It's hiding under here. You see that? It just has a tiny bit of green in the center. It's my favorite leaf. So, when I got this plant, it didn't have this new vine right here. All of this new. These two vines were like maybe up to here. This one and this one. So they were really tiny. All of these new leaves up here on top are new, as well as these ones. Yeah. Wish I could insert a photo of it back when I first got it, but I guess for some reason I didn't end up taking a picture of it when I first received it. Which is weird because I took one of the Crimson Princess and I got them just a week apart. And that was back in April. And I ordered them from an online plant shop called Local Gardens Plant Shop based in Florida. And there you go. All right. We are on to plant number 7. You guys still with me? Thanks for hanging in there and continuing to watch. Happy plants are the best, and they're so much fun to talk about. So plant number 7 is another Sansevieria, and this is my golden honey eye. I got this last December from Lowe's, and it came in one of those terracotta pots with the glued-on rocks on top. I've actually gotten a couple of other plants like that, and I like to think that I'm rescuing them from their rock prisons, as messy and time-consuming as it was to unpot them from those dumb pots that they put them in. I mean, whose bright idea was it to glue rocks onto soil and trap plants under? It's obviously not a plant parent. Let me know in the comments if you've ever rescued plants from those rock prisons. So this cool guy came with a baby already, which is this one. It was a bit smaller back then, but it was still kind of big. And they were both smushed together in that small 4-inch terracotta pot under those rocks. So I separated them so that the baby can grow in its own pot, and it's already gotten pretty big. And now it's coming up with another baby. Here, let me turn it around. Here, you see that? So all these blemishes on the leaves were actually already there when I purchased the plant, even this one. And I think there's actually one back here that, it looks like it was cut off completely. But that's okay. Plants don't need to be perfect, you know? They're like humans. We're not all perfect, but it gives them character. See. Up next is my Gold Illusion Syngonium, or arrowhead plant. It's kind of hard to get the whole plant in one frame here because it's kind of big. But yeah, there she is. This was a rescue plant from my local grocery store for just $2.99 last November. Well, it wasn't actually on clearance. But when I saw it, I asked the person working in the plant section if it was still full price, and she gave me a discount because I'll insert a picture of what she looked like when I picked her up from the grocery store. But I knew all she needed was a good watering, and sure enough, after giving it a good drink when I got home, she perked right back up for me. Yeah. And it's just been a happy camper ever since, and didn't skip a beat even after transferring to Leka. I'd like to think it was grateful to be saved, because the store probably would have just thrown it out if no one had bought it. And this plant has grown so many new leaves since then. And this big leaf right here on the side, this is one of the biggest ones that it has. It's one of the original ones. But yeah. This is one of the newer leaves. Still all shiny and soft. And that's my Gold Illusion Syngonium. And alright, you guys, we're on to the final stretch here. This is plant number 9. And this is my Aglaonema Lady Valentine, or Aglaonema favonian, otherwise known as a Chinese evergreen. And this is another plant I won from an Instagram giveaway back in January, and it's actually one of my favorite plants. Although I don't like to let my plants know that I have favorites. This pretty lady has loved the Leka life from the beginning. It's put out all these new leaves up here. Let's see. So this is a new leaf. This is a new leaf. This one And this one is still unfurling. And let me see. This is also a new leaf right here. And I just love how pink they are, especially the new ones that are coming out. They're almost like completely pink. And if you look at some of the pink and green ones, they look like they were watercolored. The way that the green kind of just blends in with the pink. I probably need to pot it up soon because it does have roots coming out the bottom of the pot, which I'm not going to take it out and show you guys right now. But yeah, it does have roots coming out the bottom of the pot. And I think it does need a bigger pot because the newer leaves aren't coming out as big. If you can see this one compared to this older leaf right there, it's like almost half the size of it. But I do want to find a cute pot for it first, though. So yeah. Okay. So last but not least is my avocado. You see the seed right there? This is my second avocado plant. All the way up here are where all the leaves are. My first one is about half its height. And it's out in my living room. I have no idea what happened, but this one decided that it was going to grow super tall, and in the last 3 weeks, shut out all these new leaves up here up top. So all of these are new. These three were original. Right here, the original leaves. There were 4, but one of them dried up and fell off. But yeah, the last 3 weeks, I got these new leaves up here. I rooted this in June of this year, so it's only been half a year. I do wish, though, that the trunk would get thicker instead of taller, because it's very top heavy. And it's able to support itself, but it does sway a lot, so I try not to move it so much. And when I do have to use both my hands, one to support the stem, and the other one to hold the pot, because otherwise it just sways everywhere, and I'm afraid that it's going to break in half. Yeah, it is over 2 feet tall now. I think the reason my first one didn't grow as tall is because I had read somewhere online that if you cut your avocado shorter while it's growing, it would make it bushier. Well, maybe I shouldn't have taken that advice, because he ended up not being so happy and just growing about 1 foot tall, maybe a little bit less. Whereas this guy, it's just, I don't know, he's trying to be a tree, I guess. So there you have it, you guys. I guess I ended up with 10 plants on my happy list. If you managed to watch all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate you spending time with me. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. Also, let me know in the comments what your happiest plants are. It's always exciting to talk about how well our plants are doing, don't you think? If you'd like to see more planty content, hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.